Hi, so I'm going to discuss fashion a little bit within something that I noticed when I was looking at the point of there being so many fashion styles. I mean, every season there is a new style, and this style then gets promoted through media such as television and magazines and billboards, and then an interesting thing occurs where you notice that youngsters are adapting that new style, and then all of a sudden everybody is walking around in those kind of new styles, and that's how basically like society changes. I mean, the image of society changes through fashion and through clothes, which has been like that for a very long time. And I was considering the fact that this doesn't actually in itself make any real sense, because I mean, clothes in itself, their function is basically to cover your body and to keep yourself warm. However, obviously the human being uses clothes for a very different reason, which is two things mainly: is sex and money, which is pretty much the same thing if you have a look at it. So sex would be where the human being would pick out someone who dresses in a similar way and would see that person as someone who is like-minded, so therefore they would go into a relationship together because they share similar visions on reality, which can be seen in their clothes. That's one part. And another part is where money where you can see how much money someone has within the clothes that they wear. So that's another aspect of why and how people would choose someone based on the clothes that they wear, which represents the amount of money that they have. Where, for instance, rich people can basically pick each other out within a crowd based on the designer clothes that they are wearing, and then they will feel attracted, or they will notice that person more because they recognize their expensive outfit, and will then desire a relationship with that person to keep the money in the family, so to speak, to to make sure that they have lots of money, and that there's always money in the family, by marrying someone of a rich family or marrying someone who has a lot of money, which can be seen in the clothes that they are wearing. But that still doesn't really explain the whole industry of fashion that is now going on, where in every season there is a different style, and there is a different style being promoted through the media. So what is that all about? That is about fear, and how the fashion industry plays into the human being's fear of being rejected by society. The human being's fear of being rejected by other people based on the amount of money that they have or do not have. Because if you're able to buy the latest outfits, and if you're able to, buy the latest outfits from expensive brands, then you can show to everyone else that you have money, that you have enough money to buy all the jewelry, the accessories that go along with the clothes that have been promoted in the media, so that everybody will like you, because we all like people with money, because we all want money. And if you can't afford the latest clothing styles, then you will be rejected by society, because then people will see that you do not have any money, or enough money, and then they will be faced with their worst fear, which is poverty, to end up in poverty, so they will reject you because they don't want to be confronted with their own fears. And that's how the fashion industry very cunningly plays into the human being's fear, and that's how that whole industry is entirely based on fear. And that's the only reason why we have a different style coming out every season, is because the fashion industry is playing into and feeding the fear within human beings, like the social fear of getting rejected by society, which is actually completely absurd, because I mean, in essence, there is really no reason why we should have to in every season buy a new kind of outfit, why we should change our style according to the change of the seasons, according to the change of what is apparently modern and hip. Because that has nothing to do with the basic essential purpose of clothing whatsoever. It's become like an entire mind industry where human beings really only buy clothes from the starting point of their mind, wherein they buy clothes from fear and from all various sorts of thoughts within themselves, based on the fear of getting rejected by other people and based on the desire to be accepted by other people and society. And the fact that we have created such an enormous industry based on our minds, based on this illusory reality of our minds as fears and thoughts and emotional experiences, is showing its consequences now, where not only are we exploiting nature for its resources, and not only is nature very rapidly declining and being destroyed by us, so that we could have our precious resources to keep this entire mind industry going, but also there's just entire countries where people have to slave labor in factories, getting paid almost nothing to be able to make all those clothes every single season, to keep all those industries going, so that we could have, so that the industries could could continue to exist. And we keep buying the clothes because we don't see any other way, because we don't want to be confronted with our own fears. So out of fear of being rejected, we keep on buying those clothes every single season. We cannot just stop, so it seems. So I mean, when do we stop, really? When is the point that we are, that we actually open our eyes and see that we have to stop, that there has to come a point where we just go and say, okay, we stop, because this is just becoming so incredibly absurd, and not to mention abusive, the way that we are living and the way that everything in this world, every industry in this world is a mind industry, is a mind job. Have a look at all the industries in this world that sell us our consumerist products, that have like new products every single season or every single year, for no other purpose than to just play into some kind of fear that human beings have of being rejected by other people. But that industry doesn't serve any other purpose whatsoever. It's not like an essential basic need or anything, like an essential basic requirement that we have in this reality. It's only based on our mind, and it's only based on fear. And the entire array of industries that we have at this moment that is causing harm to human beings and causing harm to animals, causing harm to nature, is only based on our mind, is only based on fear, pure fear. And so really, we don't need all of that. In fact, it's completely destructive. So it would be best for all if we just stop it. You know, for instance, the fashion industry, we can just stop it. It would not be difficult at all. All we have to stop is our own fear. All we have to stop is our own fear of being rejected by other people, of not fitting in, of not having friends, or which is all based on basically the fact that we don't trust ourselves and that we fear standing alone because we believe that somehow we are powerless and inferior and unworthy beings that are apparently not able to stand alone in this reality, and that are apparently not able to take a stand in this world, because apparently we need friends and we need relationships and we need to be accepted by everybody else. But doesn't that simply mean that we just don't accept ourselves? So now is the best time. There will never be a better time for us to stop what we're doing, to stop the bullshit, stop the mind games, stop the mind reality that is only causing harm to our planet and to ourselves, to each other, to every living being, which is becoming so painfully obvious right now. And all we have to do is stop our own fear that is causing us to continuously go into those shops and buying those clothes for no other reason but fear. No other reason but our fear of being rejected by other people, which then in turn creates a desire to be accepted by other people, and that desire drives us into going into those stores and buying all those clothes, and we're not even aware of it. We're not even aware of what it is that is driving us to actually go shopping every fucking single weekend. We just do it and we've accepted it as who we are, but it's really not. It's been programmed into us by these industries that have cunningly been playing into our fears, only making them bigger so that they could make money, which is unacceptable. So here is where we take a stand, where we stand up, we stop our fears, and we direct this reality so that it may become a reality that actually supports life and that actually supports nature to flourish, so that nature in turn will support us in the best possible way. Because that is the only acceptable way that we will ever be able to really live in this world within and as self-respect. Because at this moment, what this world is showing us is that we really just don't have any self-respect. And because we don't have any respect for what is here, for what exists, for the earth, for ourselves, we are abusing everything and everyone, and even ourselves. So, investigate equal money, the equal money system. To get to know what is actually possible in this world, and to consider and realize that change is not impossible, because after all, the world as how it is today is created by ourselves, by our participation in the world system. So all we have to do to stop it and to change it is to stand up, take a stand, and say, till here and no further. I will not accept this bullshit anymore, and I will stand up for a new way, for a new system, for a new way of living, because I realize that the current way of living is complete bullshit and cannot continue. And also investigate destiny, where you will actually get the support to be able to see beyond the limitations of your own fears and your own mind that is driving you to participate in this reality without even being aware of what you're actually doing and of the consequences of your actions. So, okay, thanks for listening.